Hi, this is Jennifer Ozuna and this is Lazy Keto Living. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, I want to talk to you about zucchini noodles. One of the things that I missed the most whenever I first went keto was losing the opportunities that I had had all the time, every day, to eat pasta. Pasta and bread were my favorite food group. And when I went keto, it was a little bit of an adjustment. Once I stopped craving those carbs, it wasn't hard to move on to something else. But it took me a while to accept the idea that zucchini might be used as a noodle. It was just something that was hard to wrap my head around. I liked zucchini all right, but it wasn't my favorite vegetable, and the thought of it as a noodle just didn't seem right. After a few months, I did go ahead and try it, and the first couple of times that I made it, it was okay, but it wasn't one of those meals that I made that just said to me, oh my gosh, make this again because you really like it. It just wasn't that. So I played with making Zoodles several times until I've come up with ways to make them that make them really tasty to me. And at this point, I love having pasta, and I try to have it a couple times a week. My boys still eat noodles, so any pasta sauce that I make, I put on their noodles. But for me, Zoodles is the perfect answer. Today, I want to make for you Zoodles with shrimp and clam sauce. It's really good. It's a white sauce. It has heavy whipping cream and butter in it. It's perfect for a ketogenic diet. I hope that you like it. Once you've listened to this video and once you've tried the recipe, please come back, like and subscribe, and give me a comment and tell me how it went. I'd love to hear it. I'd also love to hear if you tweaked the recipe in any way. Maybe I can learn something from you. Thank you so much for joining me, and let's get started. You have a great day. Bye. The first thing we're going to do is to go ahead and make our zucchini noodles. The key I have found for zucchini noodles is to go ahead and spiralize them, but then let them sit on a tray that has paper towels on them to let all the moisture soak up into the paper towels. This allows your zucchini noodles to not be as moist and to allow you to have a little bit more of an al dente zucchini noodles. So the first thing I'm going to do, and just to show you, my spiralizer has 3 different ones. This one makes the larger noodles, which I prefer. And then we have a smaller one, and then just a slice if you want to do like little slices of zucchini. You could do that too as well. And they just fit in here. And since I need it to kind of, there's suction cups on the bottom of this, so I'm going to push it down. And I'm going to cut off the end of my zucchini, and then it just fits in here, and it doesn't have to be perfectly even, it just needs to fit in here. And then you just kind of apply a little pressure and you spin it, and as it's a little smaller, makes better contact, you'll start getting spirals like these. And as you can see, I'm just turning, and it's gonna get, the zucchini will completely get spiralized, and then what you're left with is the very end. And if you pull all of this off, you'll notice this comes out right here, and you can throw that away, or you can freeze it and put it in chicken stock, whatever is your preference. Once I get all the zucchini noodles out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the spiralizer, and I've got a pan, a sheet, cookie sheet, that I have put paper towels on, and I'm just going to transfer these over and kind of pat them so that the moisture can get soaked up in the paper towel. And I'm gonna let them sit for a little bit. I will come back to those. Now I am going to start the cream sauce, the pasta sauce with the shrimp and the minced clams in it. And this pan here is for my zoodles when I'm ready to make them. So right now I'm going to put this on medium-high heat and go ahead and put a tablespoon of butter, and about a tablespoon of olive oil to get that started. The next thing that I'll be adding in a moment, once this heats up a little bit, is minced garlic. I have also taken 2 cans of minced clams and a bag of shrimp that has not been cooked. It has been cleaned, it has been deveined, the tails are off and the shell is off. But I've put this all together in a bowl because this will be my seafood that I add. I want to make sure, because the shrimp was previously frozen, that I really get all the water out of that. You can see there's water here, so I'm going to drain it out really quick while this is melting. There's still going to be some moisture in there, but just to get out most of it is ideal. So I've got my butter melting and my olive oil. It's about 2 tablespoons of fat that I've added in here so far. And of course, olive oil and butter are both healthy ketogenic fats that we can use here. For later, I'm going to go ahead and put 1 tablespoon of butter in for our sauteed vegetables. So right now you're looking at 3 total tablespoons of fat. Now the 1 tablespoon for the vegetables, I will be eating that. So that's gonna be a considerable amount, I think. And I may or may not eat that entire zucchini, but it could definitely be split into 2 portions. This fat here was a tablespoon of olive oil and a tablespoon of butter. And as you can see, this is probably gonna make at least, I would say, six servings. I want to put the equivalent of about 2 cloves of garlic in here. And I'm eyeballing everything. It says that half a teaspoon is approximately 1 clove of garlic. So I'm gonna estimate that that's half, so that's about 1 clove and a 2nd clove. And I like garlic, so if there's a little more in there, that's okay for me. If it's not okay for you, then obviously make the change. I'm gonna get that garlic going in the fat. Now this is on medium to medium-high heat, so, and I want it to be, because when we put in the cream, I want to reduce it so that it thickens up a little bit. The next thing I'm going to put in is my seafood. This is a really quick meal. It's something that I can put in on a night when we're really busy. Like tonight we had a meeting at the school, and then I had to pick up my son at band. So this is one of those meals that if I get home at 7 o'clock, I can have it on the table at, say, 7:30 or so. So I am just mixing this up. And my goal here is to get this shrimp cooked. You see the clams are in there too as well. You can hear it popping and sizzling, and that's okay. I'm gonna add some salt to this. I keep my salt in a little bamboo container, and it's sea salt. And I am being liberal with this because I like salt, and it's also a good thing to be liberal with your salt when you're on the ketogenic diet. Now, while this is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and get my saute pan heated up and melt that butter. So we're about to put the zoodles on as well. The shrimp is looking pretty good. It's starting to pinken up a little bit. I like to keep the heat relatively high because there is still some moisture in this shrimp, and I want the extra moisture to kind of boil out a little bit while I'm cooking this. Now that moisture was because this was frozen shrimp that I'm using. You know, we live in Texas, and we're not near the coast, so we don't always have fresh seafood. Obviously, you can pay for fresh seafood, but that's not always practical. So we do utilize frozen shrimp a lot. So I just buy it frozen. I'll oftentimes buy it peeled and deveined. Sometimes I'll go ahead and do that myself too as well. Just depends on how quick I need a meal to be. I will usually keep a bag of both in my freezer so that I can choose whatever works for that given week when I'm making my plans for dinner. All right, this shrimp is done. Keeping the heat up, I am now going to add in, this is a pint of heavy whipping cream. I'm going to add in approximately half of it. Again, I'm eyeballing it. I'm going to turn up my zoodles, the heat for where my zoodles are going to go. You see this butter is melted. I'm about to stick those zoodles in there. It's actually boiling just a little bit, so that's perfect. I get it to that heat, and now I'm going to place them in here. They've been sitting on this paper towel to kind of absorb the extra moisture. And this was one whole zucchini. Typically, if it's my husband and I eating, because I usually make zoodles for him too as well, he and I will use about 1.5 to 2 zucchinis, and we do finish it. And you know, I know that might be, I don't know exactly how many carbs are in an entire zucchini. I do know that they are a lower carb vegetable, and that may be a little too much for one day, but I also consider that I also look at my diet over an entire week. If I know I ate this and it completely wiped out my carbs, it typically doesn't knock me out of ketosis because I can go a little higher in carbs. I'm adding a little salt to that. And I'm just gonna toss them a little bit to get them coated in the butter, because the buttery taste, of course, makes them the best. And my goal here is not to really cook this that much. It's really just to kind of heat them through a little bit. So because I want them to heat through, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stick the lid on it. And remember, it's still at a pretty high heat. My cream is boiling now, so I'm going to reduce it to low. I'm going to take a little taste of this just to see if I need to add any more salt, and I do need to add some pepper to it. It tastes really good to me. I do want to add some pepper to it, and it's just a little bit of pepper. turn this off. My zoodles are almost done. I'm just gonna, I think these are done. You can hear them sizzling. Yep, we don't want to do them too much more than that. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these off the heat. So here is our plate. I'm gonna eat about half of this zucchini today. I'm not that hungry right now. I had a little snack of peanut butter. Well, it wasn't peanut butter, it was pecan butter just a little while ago, so I'm not super hungry. All right, and here is our sauce. You can see it's the butter and the cream is thickened up a little bit. I'm gonna take that sauce, put the seafood on here, and then I want a little bit of that sauce too, so let me get, here we go. And the best thing is to top this off with just a little bit of lemon. Just take a little bit of lemon and squeeze it on just like this. This makes this perfect. And there you go.